Good day everyone, my name is Precious Juanita Sacadao from Bed 2. Today I will discuss the dimension of learner-centered teaching. Function of content. What is learner-centered teaching? Learner-centered teaching empowers learners to participate actively in the learning process. Unlike more traditional teacher-learner-centered approach, which focuses on the instructor, its model places the learner at the center of the learning process. The teacher is still the classroom authority, but function more of a facilitator. So, learner-centered teaching, the 21st century education, since learner-centered hindi siya teacher-centered, education so focus on 21st century, more on active participation of the students in their learning process. So, overall, pag sinabi nating learner-centered teaching, dapat ang student yung involved dito sa pagkatuto nila. The teacher only act as a facilitator, so si student na mismo ang mag-explain or ma-explore ng kanyang topic sa kanilang student. So, mayroon tayong example ng learner-centered teaching is reporting. Kasi nga, di ba, yung student na yung bahala mag-explain kung paano niya i-deliver yung kanyang topic para maintindihan ng kanyang klase. The function of content focus on higher order thinking rather than memorization, allowing students to actively explore and reflect on their own learning. Personalized learning involves differentiating instruction so that students can learn in ways that suit their personal needs. So, pag sinabi natin the function of contents focus on higher order thinking rather than memorization. Kasi nga, according to the Bloom's taxonomy, ang memorization ay pinakamababa. So, sa function of content is more on syllables, curriculum content, pag ituro mo sa iyong estudyante. Since diverse ang mga estudyante sa isang classroom, mayroon tayong slow learner at fast learner. So, paano sila matuto in a way na maka-adapt sila? So, as a teacher, gagawa tayo ng way kung paano mapadali at maintindihan ni slow learners yung topic at sabay silang matuto ni fast learner. So, ang function of content mayroon din siyang different learning style. Visual, ang paloob sa visual is graph, flashcard. Sa auditory naman is lecture, music, physical is hands-on, movement. Verbal is writing, presenting. Ang logical is patterns, statics. And social is collaboration, teams. Ang solitary is dependent or individual. So, di ba kanina in-explain ko yung different learning styles? So, ngayon naman is teaching method. So, first ng teaching method is differentiate content of difficulty. So, pag sinabi nyo ring differentiate content difficulty, as a teacher, alamin mo kung saan mahina yung student at ano ang kailangan ng student para matulungan mo sila matuto. Next is differentiate learning process. Dito is malalaman mo na kung ano yung pagkatuto ng iyong student. Ang student ay gagamit ng different learning style kung saan sila matuto. Example is through videos, learning books, and etc. And then, differentiate assessment. So, dapat hayaan mo yung student mo kung saan siya hiyang at kung ano yung gusto nila para ma-improve yung kanilang skills. So, mayroon diba ang mga activities sa paaralan. So, may mga pinili-pili tayong mga student kung mayroong magagaling sa foster, singing, at iba pa. Last ng teaching method is differentiate learning environment. Mayroong mga student na matuto through online, one-on-one, or in-person mode of learning. Siba is mayroon tayong mga student na gusto nilang matuto na mag-isa lang, o mayroon din student na combination yung mag-group study. Last is 10 essential characteristics of a 21st century educator. First is relation builder, adaptive, inclusive, reflective network, innovative leader, storyteller, designer, and artist. And that's 10 essential characteristics of a 21st century education. That's all my topic is all about function of contents. Thank you and God bless.
Good day, everyone. Our topic is all about dimension of learner-centered teaching, and my assigned topic is the role of the instructor. A teacher rules is to shape the chances of young people by imparting knowledge, bringing the curriculum to life, says, according to Harry Kuti. So, as a teacher, you have to influence your learner or molding the future of young individuals by sharing knowledge, skills, and values that it can help them to grow and succeed. Teachers play vital role in the lives of the students in their classroom. Kasi, kung ano yung tinuturo mo sa learner mo, dapat na-adapt nila. And malaking epekto sa kanila at mga gamit sa pag-unlad and the future. Teachers serve many other roles in the classroom. It means that teachers don't just teach lesson, they also act as mentors, role model, counselor, and facilitator. What is the role of an instructor? Teaching knowledge, creating classroom environments, role model, and mentoring. Being learner centered means adopting a bottom up approach to curriculum teaching and management, rather than entering the school year with a set of fixed units and activities. A truly learner centered teacher begins by getting to know her students and understanding their hopes and dreams and needs. Learner centered teacher may occasionally provide direct instruction.
In this video, I'm going to discuss the responsibility for learning. Since nga active learning na ang 21st century education and the students are involved na in their learning process, of course, they must become now responsible for their learning. The responsibility for learning promote independent, active and autonomous learning as learners become more responsible for their own learning. Learners who accept the idea that their own efforts are crucial to their progress in learning. Shifting responsibility. Transferring the responsibility for learners from teacher to the students. Shifting responsibility means changing the role of the teacher from being the primary source of knowledge to a facilitator or guide. The student takes ownership to their learning, making decisions and being accountable for their progress. Student autonomy. Encouraging students to take ownership of their learning, goals, peace, and strategies. Student autonomy is about improving our students to make their decision about their learning, fostering a sense of ownership and accountability. Self-directed learning. Fostering the ability of learners to set goals, plan, and assess their own learning. Self-directed learning is a process where our students take initiative and responsibility for their learning, with us, our teacher, acting as their facilitator or guide. Metacognition. Developing student awareness of their thinking, learning process, and self-assessment. Metacognition, it refers to the process of thinking about and reflecting on one's own mental states, learning process, and strategies. Reflection of self-assessment. Encouraging students to reflect on their learning. Identify strengths and weaknesses, and adjust strategies. Reflection and self-assessment are essential components of the learning process, enabling our students to evaluate their progress, identify areas for improvement, and adjust their strategies.
So, good morning, sir. I am Precious James C. Dumero of BEd 2. Our topic is Dimension of Learning-Centered Teaching, and I will discussing the process and purpose of assessment. There are additional purposes and process of assessment beyond assigning grades. The purpose of assessment. So, ano nga ba ang purpose ng assessment? To diagnose learning and monitor student progress, improve instruction, and evaluate learning outcomes. So, the process involves systematically collecting and analyzing information about student learning through methods like assignments, tests, and project. Like yung sinabi ko kanina is all about the formative assessment. In assessment helps students to understand their strengths and weaknesses and can motivate them to work harder by providing insights into what students have and have not learned. Assessment allows teachers to identify effective methods and adjust their strategies to better. Assessments are used to evaluate learning. Learning objectives have been met, provide a basis of grades, and report on students' achievement. In this process, an essential component is formative assessment. So, what is formative assessment? This is giving feedback to foster improvement. Dito, malalaman natin kung meron bang natutunan yung mga estudyante o wala. Teacher-centered approach is teacher uses only summative assessment to make decisions to assign grades or provide students with no constructive feedback. Teachers provides increasing opportunities for students assume responsibility for their own learning, leading to achievement of stated learning objectives. So dito, si teacher is marami siyang binibigyan ng opportunity sa students niya para ang student niya is makakuha or maka-achieve man lang ng award or any opportunities. So, consistently throughout the learning process, teachers integrates formative assessment and constructive feedback. So, the process and purpose of the assessment is to guide the students if the students have learned or the student is if the student is have learned or the student needs to learn more. So that is the purpose of assessment. The teaching approach of the teacher is the formative assessment, so that the formative assessment, the teacher would know if the student have learned or need talaga yung assessment para sa mga students, para malaman ng mga teacher kung meron bang nalalaman yung student or wala. So, paano nga ba malalaman ng isang guro kung may nalalaman ng isang student kung hindi sa pamamagitan ng assessment? Diba, sa pamamagitan ng assessment is nalalaman ng isang guro kung ano yung natutunan ng isang student and kung ano ang proseso ng paggawa ng assessment ng isang guro. So, So, halimbawa na lang yung formative assessment. 'Di ba? Doon halimbawa pag naga process tayo ng formative assessment, 'di ba, yung exam. Malalaman natin yung grade natin sa pamamagitan ng exam, kung ilan yung score natin na nakuha doon sa exam. So, once again, I'm Precious Jane Sidumera, and that's all my topic, sir. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Precious Kate Medel, a Bachelor of Elementary Education, second year student. Today, I'm going to talk about a very important concept in learner-centered education, which is the balance of power. This topic focuses on how teacher and students share authority in the classroom, where learning becomes more collaborative, meaningful, and student-centered. Let's explore what it really means and how it looks in practice.
So, the balance of power. Challenge the traditional power structure in the role of authority in the classroom. According to the learner-centered education, achieving a balance means that there is a power sharing between the teacher and the student. The authority is not in the hands of the teacher as in the traditional education, but it is a share with the students. So, the balance of power in education means that the teacher and student share control in the learning process, and instead of the teacher having all the authority. In a traditional classroom, the teacher decides everything: what to study, how to study, and how to grade. Students just follow instruction. But in a learner-centered classroom, both the teacher and the students make decision together. The teacher is still the guide, but students are more involved. They help choose topics, methods, or even ways to show what they learn. This balance helps students become more active, responsible, and motivated because their opinions matter. So, magbibigay ako ng specific example. Let's say the lesson is about environment awareness. Sa traditional way, si teacher lang ang nagsasalita tungkol sa pollution, tapos magbibigay ng quiz at essay. Pero sa balanced way o share power, si teacher ay magtatanong sa students. Anong environment issue gusto nyong i-focus? Water pollution, plastic waste, o deforestation? Like ganun na question. Pagkatapos ay magbo-vote ang buong klase. So student form groups and choose how to present their learning, like poster, video, campaign, or even report. So si teacher naman ay magbibigay ng guidelines at tutulong sa paghahanap ng mga resources. So, magkakasama silang gagawa ng rubrics para sa grading. Halimbawa is creativity, teamwork, and accuracy. So, now, parehong may power si teacher at mga students. Hindi lang sumusunod ang mga bata, kundi aktibo ring nakikilahok at nagdi-decide ang mga bata sa kanilang pagkatuto. So, ang balance of power, share authority between teacher and student. Teacher guide, student participate in planning, learning, and evaluating. So example, students help choose project topics and decide how to present their learning, while teachers still support and set standards.
So, to sum it up, the balance of power means giving students a voice and share responsibilities sa learning process. Habang si teacher naman ay patuloy na nag-guide at sumusuporta sa kanila. It's about creating a classroom environment kung saan both teacher and learner work together, not just to teach and learn, but also to grow and understand each other better. Once again, I am Precious Kate Medel, BE Ed 2, and thank you so much for watching my presentation. Have a great day!